club mates who lifted the biggest prizes in club football. Shoulder to shoulder in Toronto tonight. The colours around this venue, quite magnificent. He's never lifted that trophy. He's done
just about everything else. One last pulse of music through the stadium. For one of these two teams, one last walk out onto a World Cup 2026 stadium. Here they come. Down by the lakeside, we're sailing in a bit of a football fantasy. Portugal and Croatia, Ronaldo and Modric at the FIFA World Cup for the first and last time. Toronto downtown, away to our east. We're a short hop from Lake Ontario. Slight breeze blows in. Cloud cover overhead now. And the two teams will pause for the national anthems of Portugal and Croatia. Portugal versus Croatia, live from Toronto, is coming up. Well, Diego Jota's image was shown on the screen at the end of the Portuguese anthem. Portuguese players have had commemorative wristbands during this tournament. Every player's name and that of Diego Jota on those wristbands. Sure to be a very emotional evening for them amid what is a terrific atmosphere between two great European powers of the last generation, really, Tab.
And you know, every 4 years, the World Cup reminds us that even the greatest careers have a final chapter. And let's see whose final chapter today could be and who moves on.
So the handshake's out the way. One last photograph for the players. And then we're away. The referee and his assistants are from Norway. Espen Askas is the man with the whistle. VAR, England's Jared Gillett. To the team news, Portugal make two changes to the side that started their final group game, a 0-0 draw versus Colombia. João Neves replaced Ruben Neves at halftime that night. He stays in the side. Rafael Leao has come off the bench in each game. He starts on the flank. It's his first start at the World Cup. Cristiano Ronaldo makes his 232nd international appearance at a venue where he scored for the very first time in a Real Madrid shirt back in 2009. Croatia needed a result against Ghana in Philadelphia, and they got it. And with the same starting 11, which head coach Zlatko Dalic names tonight. It means Ante Budimir continues up front. He scored the winner here in the 1-0 group victory over Panama. That game marked Luka Modric's 200th international. Not far behind him, Ivan Perisic, who plays a 21st time at a World Cup. Each of those has been as a starter. Roberto Martinez, who said yesterday, World Cup Part 2 starts tonight. Zlatko Dalic, the 59-year-old, who's only ever known comparative success when he brings Croatia to the world stage. First time in a World Cup match that two outfield players aged 40 plus have faced each other. And look at the scene. In the far distance there, the CN Tower. 550 meters up from the ground. Two players who scaled the mountain peaks in football clash tonight. The first whistle, the last dance for someone at a World Cup. Croatia are in the blue tonight to avoid a clash. Both sides have changed shirts. It's been a World Cup of surprises. It's been a World Cup of sensational moments. We have a group of players on this pitch who could just heighten the drama and increase the superlatives tonight. It's officially a white kit, but with some green trim for Portugal. Reasons for both teams to feel at home as well, such as the support. Toronto staged 5 games already, but this has really gone to another level. Will the game match the occasion.
And it looks like Portugal is taking the initiative in the game, and Croatia's going to wait and counter. Croatia, not a team known for having a lot of possession. They didn't have it in qualifying, and they haven't had it a lot in this World Cup.
Roberto Martinez said it's the team that wants to drive the agenda, that's going to win this game, that's going to win this game. Effectively, both ends of the ground have got each side supporters. It's quite marked how large the Croatian support was. When they played here in the group phase. But Portugal is almost a second home for many in the Toronto area. 400,000 Portuguese expats across this country, most of them in the greater Toronto, in the greater Ontario area, and Ontario area. Love this country. Stanisic will take the throw. Modric has retained his place alongside Sutalo up front. The early run and cross from Vlasic, and the finish, a pretty weak one from Budimir.
And this is a good run from Vlasic, coming all the way across the field. And he wasn't picked up. He had the room to put the ball in the middle of the box for Budimir to get his first shot.
Vlasic, the match winner in Philadelphia against Ghana from a Luka Modric corner. And he keeps his place in the starting 11 tonight. Budimir keeps his spot up top. Should mention, of course, Andrej Kramaric, another of the great generation of Croat players. He's been struggling with injury. We've not seen him in this World Cup. For Portugal, only to be denied by Livakovic, and then that Croatian backline.
And they're looking at something here. Nothing there, but what a great run from Leao. Already showing his speed and his danger on that side.
Leao's done enough to force his way into the starting lineup for the first time at a World Cup. Did score in the comfortable group win over Uzbekistan. This is a positive start, though, from Portugal. And it'll be a goal kick.
And there it is. Nuno Mendes finding Leao behind, cuts it back to Bruno Fernandes, top of the box, coming into the box. Oh, and that's a good save from Livakovic.
And it looked like Pongracic who got the follow-up block. There were some appeals there. You can see Ronaldo asking about a handball. That's why we had a momentary delay. The referee from Norway was having a look at that. He's also very close to that challenge, which draws a free kick. Sucic wrong-footed, the other goal scorer in Philadelphia for Croatia. João Neves. Room for Leao to take this. And the early ball. And Livakovic has got some work to do. And he just palms it behind for the game's first corner.
And this starts with a great run from Nuno Mendes across the box. It drags the defender, leaves Leao wide. And Leao hits a great cross inside the box that Bruno Fernandes almost gets ahead on it.
Corner taken short. This is Neto. Lifted in and just over the head of Ronaldo. And then volleyed over the top by Cancelo. In terms of settling, you'd give the first 7 minutes very much to Portugal. That one raid forward from Croatia. Kovacic. Space on the right for Sucic. He's not going to reach that.
That was good pressure from Portugal in the middle right away. As soon as Kovacic started to dribble with the ball, 4 defenders collapsed on him. He was forced to play that ball too early for Sucic.
Helped wide by Bruno Fernandes. Perisic didn't get there. Neto could. And he'll cross, and Ronaldo's in there again, and Livakovic came out for it. He didn't get anything on it either. It's gone behind for a goal kick.
And this looked to be a perfect in-swinger from Neto that goes right to Ronaldo's head. Oof. And they all missed it.
Two defenders, Ronaldo and a goalkeeper. He's wondering how someone didn't get any touch on it. Bright start, though. Cool evening at Toronto Stadium. We were a little concerned about some weather that's been floating around. The temperature's dropped dramatically, but at the moment it's staying away from this end of town. We are just a stone's throw from Lake Ontario, way behind the south stand in this remarkably remodeled venue that is the home of Toronto FC in Major League Soccer. Chance for Croatia to cross, and once again it's Budimir who's the target, and it loops over the top from the Croatian striker. We got a lot of VIPs in the building tonight. Davos Suker, Nuno Gomez, great players for either side from yesteryear, sitting there with the Secretary General of FIFA, who is here tonight.
And Croatia was able to connect a couple of passes. They've been doing better in this World Cup when they find Baturina in between lines, in between the defenders in the midfield.
Leao decided to release the pass, and then afterwards the challenge has gone in and it's drawn the foul. Croatia are not happy about it. Nuno Mendes ending up on the floor.
Yeah, he got a little piece of him. Good call by the referee.
I'll give you an idea of how bright Portugal have been from the opening. 4 attempts in the opening 7 minutes of this game today. They had 7 attempts in the whole of the final group game against Colombia in Miami. Now then, I think he fancies these from this kind of range. We've seen him do it once or twice.
I think he's hit 1 or 2 of these.
Nuno Mendes has scored from a free kick at this World Cup as well. Dare we say that Ronaldo could ever be a decoy? Distance-wise, you feel it's perfect for him to get it up and over. One set of fans hoping. There it is, straight off the wall. Didn't really hit it with too much conviction. Modric might disagree with me on that, but here's the effort.
He didn't get enough height on it to try to get it over the wall.
Cristiano Ronaldo scored his first goal in a Real Madrid shirt in this stadium in a 5-1 exhibition game victory over Toronto FC in 2009.
You know, and as you watch Ronaldo take that free kick, makes you think about a player like him that sets an era. How many players line up nowadays to take a free kick like Cristiano Ronaldo?
Leao has just comfortably got past Stanisic. I think he's got quite a battle on his hands, the man from Bayern Munich tonight. This time Stanisic has Leao in front of him. Coutinho's header. Modric finds Batarina on this left side. He's got 3 players now through the middle, including the tall Budimir. Modric's switch was looking for Vlasic. Luka Modric, the 3rd oldest outfield player ever at a World Cup. Of course, the man who's 2nd is on the opposing team tonight. There goes Neto. And that header is actually going to go behind from Modric for a Portuguese corner. Mendes taking his time to come across and take it. This is right in front of the Croatian supporters. You can see the sun there, a bit of an issue for Livakovic as it is continuing to drop. Pace on it, and over from Vega.
This is an excellent cross from Nuno Mendes, and here comes Vega. He's got the whole goal clear in front of him. And he gets the forehit on it. You want to send those back where the ball comes from if he goes for that near post.
And a yellow card. Ruben Dias is protesting his innocence, but he goes into the book by a referee who does have a reputation for being no nonsense. And you can see there the left arm. First caution of the game goes to Portugal. Sucic with the run down the line. And he'll get a free kick. And slow to get up as well. The man who scored a fine opener against Ghana in Philadelphia last Saturday. First real chance for Croatia to get some numbers into the box. Modric, one or two players standing over it. It is Modric. And it was Mendes away, and then coming across is Stanisic.
The free kick came up a little short. Croatia has to take advantage of those.
It's the first World Cup meeting between the two, but Portugal unbeaten in all 6 competitive matches. They won 5 of them as well. 1 draw between the two. That was in November 2024 in Split. A Croatia win came in a friendly June 2024. Modric and Budimir, the scorers, in a 2-1 victory for Croatia. Diogo Jota was the goal scorer for Portugal. Both teams will be pleased about how the temperature has dropped markedly from what it was like when they would have arrived at the stadium when they first stepped out onto the field. We were up above 30 Celsius. And of course, Roberto Martinez pointing out in the press conference yesterday that his team has been training in the heat of Florida. Croatia have been in Alexandria, Virginia, so somewhat further to the north.
There's a big difference. Roberto Martinez prepared the team for the heat and the humidity.
But you know, as these players will have arrived in town yesterday, extraordinary scenes, the highway closed coming in from the airport as they made their way to the hotel. It was officially Canada Day here yesterday, but it almost became Portugal Day. They were held up so much they arrived a few minutes late and walked into the press conference apologetically, but another throw for them here. The cultural significance of them being in this city. You can take a wander to the west end of Toronto, where little Portugal is found. But don't underestimate the Croatian support in this area as well. Not far from here, Father Kamba Croatian Park in Mississauga, 20 miles away. We're a big following of Croatian fans are watching the game on a big screen tonight. Cancelo. That's off Modric. Didn't go out. Vitinha in field. And Vitinha spoke to the media yesterday as well, and he urged all of those Portuguese Canadians to will this team on to victory. We need you, he said. Leao. They set up Vlasic against him that time.
And that was good 1v1 defending. Won the ball cleanly. Unfortunately, they already lost it. And this is Croatia's just sitting back at this point. And Portugal's going to have to start moving this ball a little bit quicker.
Cancelo cuts in field. Again, they're looking for the width that they've got on the left side. Leao and Nuno Mendes. There's Ronaldo. Good ball in. And Pongracic diving, heads it behind for another corner.
And this is a great cross there. I believe Nuno Mendes, and what a great play from Pongracic there, as it looked like Neto was lurking there in the far post.
His manager likes it. One that Pongracic had to get to, you feel. Mendes again to deliver the corner. And once more, it went all the way through and then was met at the back post before going over the top. And we've just passed the midway point of the first half. And Portugal have had the better of it so far as we go into our first hydration break. Well, we've got a Canadian favourite bouncing around the stadium in Bryan Adams right now. And I think Portugal will be probably the happier of the two, but for Croatia, maybe they're happy at the moment to soak up a little bit of pressure. What's your impressions of it so far, Tab?
Yeah, and this is what we've seen of Croatia in this tournament. They'd like to sit back and counter. However, I think their back line is too much in their box right now. They have to push up a little bit more, because right now every cross is becoming a dangerous cross from Portugal. Not just because one of their players could potentially get on the end of it, but the crosses are so dangerous that it forces the defenders to be facing their own goal. So Croatia's going to have to step up to the ball a little bit more. And on Portugal's side, I think it's important that when Ronaldo comes in to receive, and he's been doing that a lot, that the midfielders are making runs into the box. I'd like to see Neves maybe get into the box, and Bruno Fernandes a little bit more.
Well, the tablet's out. Chance to pass on some tactical insight from both head coaches here. Portugal up to 7 attempts now. The only one on target was that of Fernandes after just 4 minutes. Well, they got the full works out there. You got Austin McPhee as well, the famed set-piece coach. One of Roberto Martinez's assistants. Coaching staff, bags of experience as well. Ricardo Carvalho's there. The goalkeeping coach is Ricardo, who famously saved the 3 penalties against England back in 2006. Look at this scene. There's the CN Tower in the backdrop. wonderful view of downtown Toronto in Lakeshore, away to the west of the city of Toronto. We talked about some big moments in this city's sporting history. It's a long time since they won hockey's Stanley Cup. Walk-off home run to win baseball's World Series in the 1990s. The Toronto Blue Jays came very close to winning it last year as well. And the team that normally plays here, Toronto FC, won a treble 9 years ago. But this one has had all the build-up to make it one of the great Toronto sports moments. And here is Sucic running at them. And it falls to Baturina. Shot repelled. Forced wide. Perisic now. Modric expertly finding space. Via Sucic, it's with Stanisic. Now Vlasic. Shutalo has been ever present so far, and they've partnered him since that first game against England where they conceded 4 with Pongracic, which has meant that the teenager Luka Vuskovic has been on the bench. One of those that they see as part of Croatia's future, though. A future being ushered in by some wonderful servants, not least of which the man on the ball now. And they've set it away for Vlasic. Baturina in support, and now the flag is up.
Yeah, it seems like he's about a step ahead.
Great Canadian singer Nelly Furtado in the building this evening. And she's just seen herself on the screen as well.
And Portugal is a team, they have an excellent trio in the middle of the field, and Neves, Vitinha, and Bruno Fernandes, and they'd like to play down the middle, but in order to do that, they're going to have to open up the field and really have Leao on one side, basically standing on the line, and here Neto on the other one to open them up more.
Cancelo trying to open them up now. Good ball into the box, all the way through! And once again, somehow, it evades Ronaldo, who is arriving into the 6-yard box.
And here's the switch. That's what we were just talking about. They have to open up the field. And Neto cuts inside and hits a great in-swinger. Ronaldo is inches away from getting another World Cup goal.
Well, he's already the first player to score at 6 World Cups, of course. We'd love one here tonight. Leao. And Vlasic is there to stick a toe in. He's really helping out Stanisic on that side now after those first few minutes where Leao was taking on the Bayern Munich man on his own. Neto. Cancelo. Portugal were inches away from defeat against Colombia in their last group stage match. The length of the toe of Davinson Sanchez, the only difference between defeat and the draw they got in Miami. But they've looked more assured, more confident. Vitinha said yesterday that the game ran away from them a little bit in the early stages of the match against Colombia. You can see the way they set about this task tonight. A little bit more intensity. And the applause at the moment is coming from their head coach, the man who led Belgium to their best World Cup campaign in 2018. Well, Mendes managed to get back to his feet, and the referee played advantage now with Leao. Bruno Fernandes is in the middle. And it's him to try and keep it alive to the edge of the box for João Neves. Then Mendes again. And the cross had some vigour behind it, and so did the second one, and it's behind for another corner.
And the whole sequence starts with a Bruno Fernandes run into the box from midfield. This is what's going to help them to create opportunities. Here's Bruno Fernandes with an excellent ball across the box. Livakovic does a good job there getting the hands on it and pushing it for a corner.
They are in the corner, they play it short. Mendes have to go with his right. And blocked, and there's a break on now if Croatia can get upfield. Batarina was all alone, and he's lost possession fairly, says our Norwegian referee. And that'll be a foul. Every moment, every fall, every decision met with huge cries from both sets of supporters. That was the challenge on Batarina. And then there's the foul on Vitinha as called by the referee. Kovacic starts the move that brings Croatia out of their own half. Mendes with the interception. Leao now sets off on the run. Stelisic watched him all the way.
That was a good idea from Nunes, trying to find him over the top.
Possession very much going Portugal's way. You think, though, Tab, to a certain extent, Croatia won't mind losing that particular battle at the moment?
Yeah, I think Croatia looks comfortable. They came out of the hydration break with their line a little bit higher, and maybe that's helping them. But they're going to need runs like the one that Kovacic just made. You know, wall pass up the middle to break the press. Somehow they have to break that initial press and connect a couple of passes so that they can get their players forward. They need to buy a little bit of time to push numbers forward.
Sucic penalised this time.
Looks like gets a little bit of the knee there. Knee on the thigh.
Neto. Cancelo's outside him. And this time, an easier one for Livakovic. And Modric just made the early run, and look at him streaking away. Nuno Mendes tracking back. Still got a burst in him. He'll be 41 in September.
And he just made a 50-yard sprint forward. We covered his game the other day, and we saw him block shots in the box. We saw him intercept balls in the box. He was all over the field.
The assumption is that he'll draw his career to a close at the end of this World Cup. There is the offer of an extension, another year from AC Milan. And of course, we wonder with Ronaldo on the other side, how much longer this storied career goes. Of the two of them, Ronaldo's certainly come closer to a goal tonight, and he's actually never scored in a World Cup knockout match. Neto. Batterina was back marking him. This is Mendes now on the other side of the field. Renato Vega. So much of this first half has been played in the Croatian half. You can see the coaches are just trying to wave them up a little bit, in danger of sinking too deep, but then susceptible to the ball over the top like that one. And that was off the head of Stanisic, and it's another Portuguese corner.
Another important run from Bruno Fernandes out of midfield.
Bruno Fernandes poised to take Portugal's fifth corner of this first half. This time lifted in and all the way. Once again, just a little glance that time off Sutalo. Right now, those fans watching their team with a lot of Portuguese pressure on them. Worked from the corner for Cancelo. Mendes lifted in. Vega was at the back, needed that header. Well, just 7% of this match has been played in Portugal's defensive third of the field. Croatia very much used to playing with their backs up against their massed ranks of supporters behind them. They weren't totally convincing here in their victory over Panama. It was one of those days where they kind of got the job done. They put Budimir into the game at half-time. He rewarded them with a goal. Not really mentioned his name too much, but here's a chance for them to come forward. Vlasic down the right. Sucic picks it up. Support from Batterina. There's players available to the left as well. Vlasic helps it to He shrugs off it, and they'll actually get it back. Petar Susic. And no foul again, says the referee. The Croatians have not won too many decisions, and now they've got to try and get some numbers back, because here come Portugal with Leao on the other side. That's the Croatian fans you can hear. Leao. Vlasic again marshalling him. Ronaldo's little touch. That'll set Bruno Fernandes away. Referee will play advantage for Croatia this time. Kovacic. Baturina. Well, when Croatia have got it up there, Tad, they really haven't been able to keep it there, have they?
No, but it benefits them when they find Baturina. The last two times Baturina was found in between lines there, he was able to put one ball into a winger and the second one to Kovacic in the center, and then make that overlapping run on the left side. They need to find him a little bit more and see if he can come back a little bit more and combine to help Croatia get out.
We'll have 4 added minutes at the end of this first half. A goalless first half at the Toronto Stadium. The winner is heading to Texas, to Dallas, for a round of 16 tie on Monday, July 6th against Spain. Comfortable winners today over Austria. There's a Spaniard who will relish that. He was actually asked about it in the press conference yesterday, and he said, you just cannot allow yourself to look that far ahead at the moment. Vitinha. Portugal just having their way with the ball in this first half. There's going to be a fatigue factor as well, though, Tab, isn't there, for Croatia, if they don't get a little bit more of the ball, even if they are happy to sit back a bit.
At some point, you know, you have to move your lines up and you have to start sending numbers, and you can only do that when you're able to hold on to possession for 2 or 3 passes. That's what allows you the time for some of the other players to get up the field, and then you can find them in support. They have not been able to do that but 2 or 3 times this whole half.
Into added time, with a foul on the far side from Susic.
Not much there, just a little push.
I think Croatia are going to want this breather a little bit more than Portugal at the moment. I think they'd be quite happy to keep this going. There goes Neto. Another good ball in. Fernandes was up there. There's Leao arriving, but he can't control the volley and sends it behind for a goal kick.
And another good ball from the right side. Another in-swinging ball from Neto. And Leao tries to volley right-footed. That was a pretty good opportunity. Should have probably done a little better with that one.
That rather sums up the first half for Budimir. He's been a lone front man as the blue shirts have sunk almost constantly back to their own 18-yard box.
But I'm not sure Croatia would be too unhappy with their performance so far.
Budimir's had only 6 touches and just 1 since the 17th minute. So you wonder what that man is thinking as he prepares his halftime team talk. Very animated, Roberto Martinez. The Portuguese media were quite animated with him yesterday as well. Just the victory over Uzbekistan, as Budimir this time wins a free kick. Both sides, remember, finished second in their group. An acceptable path, of course, in the early stages of a World Cup, but no second place now.
In a group where all the teams were changing position till the last 20 minutes when England scored those 2 quick goals against Panama that put them in first place to stay.
Yes, it was a topsy-turvy day across those groups, Group L and Group K, that these two teams played in. Another Croatian free kick taken quickly for Sucic, who scored from this kind of range in Philadelphia in that victory over Ghana. This is Kovacic. Nicely done from Stanisic, and they can now open it up for Perisic to chase. Neto is back with him. And with that, the referee blows his whistle. It's half-time in the round of 32. The Modric Ronaldo showdown yields no goals in the first half. Bruno Fernandes, in fact, was closest to breaking the deadlock. He'll head to the dressing rooms. We head to half-time with a scoreline in this round of 32 tie. Portugal 0, Croatia 0. So goalless at the break. Portugal's half, albeit Croatia happy to cede possession for large portions of that opening period of play. But not too much to talk about offensively for Zlatko Dalic's side on what is now a glorious evening. Cloudless skies over Toronto as we look towards the CN Tower. And this wonderful venue that seats around 45,000 for this World Cup. Normally the home of Toronto FC. It's a relatively short walk as well, under the stands, into the dressing room. And Tab, put yourself in the position now of the two head coaches. We'll think about what they might be conveying to their players in just a moment. First, though, we can get some first half reaction from the camps. Here's the statistics at the end of the first half. Portugal 0, Croatia 0. Portuguese possession, very strong. Double that of their opponents, and the attempts at goal high as well with 9.
Yeah, and both teams in general have been what we've expected. Croatia has gotten here by being conservative and countering. A 1-0 win versus Panama, 2-1 win versus Ghana. On Portugal's side, they've had a lot of possession in their games, and they haven't turned the possession has not turned into chances.
Ronaldo's had a couple of chances in that first half as crosses came in from particularly the right-hand side. Budimir has not had many touches of the ball even at all since his early opportunity. Just 7 touches was the fewest of any outfield player. But he's the kind of player who needs service. And the final third entries will tell you a little bit about those kind of service from each side. And though you can see drastically different numbers for each team.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that, Portugal is trying to exploit with Rafa Leão on one side and with Neto on the other side, and they've been quite successful with that. 16 times on one side, 18 times on the other. As we can see, Croatia has barely gotten over midfield and has barely gotten any final third entries.
Second half is coming up from Toronto Stadium. Welcome back to the Toronto Stadium. Last words in the tunnel from the Portuguese captain Cristiano Ronaldo to his players, or some of them anyway, before they will emerge for the second half in this round of 32 tie. Had much the better of the opening 45 minutes, but they couldn't find a way through a dogged Croatian backline. Portuguese the first to emerge. Luka Modric now to bring the Croatians out. He has signalled that this tournament will bring down the curtain on certainly his international career, and wonders on the club career as well. We wonder therefore whether we could potentially be watching his last half of football, certainly in a Croatian shirt. His team will need to get a little bit better in this second half, and Zlatko Dalic said yesterday, if you're focused and you lose that focus, you'll make an error and it's over. Croatia are going to make a substitution at half-time, and they're going to bring on the tall striker Igor Matanovic, and Ante Budimir is off. So this is a change that they made at the weekend in Philadelphia as well, with Matanovic coming into the game against Ghana. He's 6'5", so there's certainly an aerial threat in there. Plays for Freiburg in Germany. Third straight sub-appearance at this World Cup. Here we go then. The second half underway in Toronto on a beautiful evening in Ontario at Lakeshore, down close to the banks of Lake Ontario, where a cool breeze has been blowing in from. A storm has passed to our south, and on the field these two teams going toe-to-toe with an early chance for Mendes, and he was looking for Ronaldo, maybe should have gone alone. Barely 25 seconds on the clock as Nuno Mendes forced his way into the Croatian penalty area. Well, almost all Portugal camped in the Croatian half in the first half of the game. Tab Ramos, second half starting in the same vein.
Yeah, and that's what we've been waiting a little bit more of that from Mendes on the left side, and he goes through, and he could have been a little bit more selfish. It looked like he had room for a shot there.
Yeah, wrong option. I thought he should have just had a go. Opted to pass. Leao. Ronaldo's touch. Vlasic away. Here's the substitute's first touches, Matanovic. He loses out as well. It's been a hard night for any Croatian striker, but Kovacic brings them away now. Katarina to one side, and here's Petar Sucic. He opts for the cross. And now Vlasic. Kovacic again. Katarina's out there. And the block is made by Cancelo. Modric.
It looked like Sucic had a chance to take a shot from the right side, but chose also to go for the pass.
Well, that's right. We've seen both fullbacks, or one fullback and one wide man, get into the box in the early moments of this half. And both times, or close to the box in Sucic's case, and he scored a fine goal at the weekend. They've opted not to shoot. Matanovic now, trying to battle his way through. Oh, they picked it up. It's Kovacic! It's the side netting.
Wow, it got a little bit messy there in the middle. And all of a sudden, Kovacic picks up the loose ball and goes right through the defenders. And it looks like Costa got a little piece of it.
Just a little touch to send it wide and behind. This is Croatia's first corner of the game. Six for Portugal in the first half. Modric stands over it. Scored from these circumstances the winning goal against Ghana. They opt to go short. Kovacic. Modric. Now the cross, comfortable for Leao. Oh, and then he showed too much of it. And so Vlasic said, well, if you're going to present the chance, I'm going to have a go. And he puts it wide.
And we know Vlasic can definitely shoot. As we saw him against Ghana, he had a couple from outside the box. Leao took a chance there and makes a mistake and left it there for the shot.
A little bit more goal-mouth activity to start the second half, and I think we're happy to see that. Portugal have not failed to score in consecutive World Cup matches since the 2010 edition, when they were held to a stalemate by Brazil and Spain. And Matanovic's ball actually breaks as Sucic tries to bring it forward. Now a little bit of space for Bruno Fernandes. Cancelo is outside him.
You know, you'd like to see Portugal push the game more. You know, it seems like they get into the offensive attacking third, and then they turn around and pass back.
Well, one back. It was Fernandes, and then Leao rather wastes the opportunity presented to him. Matanovic with the foul on Vitinha. And the man from the Algarve sweeps it out to the feet of Leao. So after that flurry at the start of the second half, does it just slow down again for a moment? Cancelo, Bruno Fernandes.
Portugal's going to have to hit some long diagonal balls. You know, if you go from one player to the next to get all around, it's difficult.
Vitinha tried to drive straight through the middle.
Those long diagonal balls will help Portugal open up the field. At this moment, their circulation is too slow by connecting with all the players as they go from one side to the other.
And I guess the central point of this is that the man at the top there is Ronaldo. And of course, he's not the most mobile at this point of his career. He didn't have a touch in the opposition box in the first half.
And there's been times where he's checked in where he could actually turn and go at defenders or potentially just go for the shot from outside the box, but he's not really looking to do that. He's just looking to hold the ball and play back.
Just 17 touches in the game, none of them within the 18-yard box for Cristiano Ronaldo. Matanovic, Vlasic, Stanisic is outside him. Perisic is at the back post. Stanisic for the cross. It's going to come to Perisic. And Croatia have scored. All the talk of the great veterans in their World Cup squad. You don't forget this guy. Ivan Perisic breaking the deadlock. Ronaldo's Portugal behind in the round of 32.
And this play started with a throw-in on the opposite side of the field where the Portuguese players are not connected. They're not reacting. And here the ball goes to Stanisic. He's onside. As he crosses the ball, he goes far to the back. And there comes Perisic. Delivering a big, big moment for this Croatia team. He keeps it tight to the ground and under the goalkeeper's legs. The only place he could go from there with the defender coming.
Seventh World Cup goal for Ivan Perisic. And he's now Croatia's outright highest scorer, ahead of the watching Davor Suker. They score with their first attempt on target in the match. And for all the pressure and the possession that Portugal have had, Croatia have just soaked it up and then delivered at the other end.
And it started with a quick throw-in on the opposite side of the field where it seemed like it caught Portugal by surprise.
They won the last 7 when they scored first. And their noses are in front now in Toronto. A second half whose storyline is dictated by chances for fullbacks. Remember, in the first seconds, Nuno Mendes had the opportunity and he chose to pass when he could have had a go. Petar Sucic, Matanovic, now they're spreading it wide, and the chase is on for Vlasic. Sucic again, oh Vlasic, flag stayed down, and he can cross it, and they've got another one! And now the flag has gone up. Matanovic was there to connect the cross. And clearly offside.
Well, let's see how Portugal reacts to this.
The noise now incessant from the Croatia fans.
You know, you almost need another forward if you're Portugal right now, because you're not finding your way. Not only are you not really finding it wide, but you're not having any danger up the middle.
Well, they're going to the super sub. Gonzalo Ramos is preparing to come on. Bernardo Silva as well. Leao got there first. Has a go! Off the woodwork, still alive and cleared. Portugal that close to an equaliser. What a strike that was from Rafael Leao. Had Livakovic beaten. And that time, the cross a little bit more comfortable for the Croatian keeper. It's the response they'll want.
It sure was. What a cut inside from Rafael Leao, and he had unleashed an absolute powerful shot that beat the keeper.
Look at how this is opening out. Baturina, he's got numbers to his left. It's Perisic again. And this time it's blocked. I thought it was Sucic that time. And it'll be a corner to Croatia.
And here's Leao's shot. He unleashes this powerful shot to the far post. Nothing the goalkeeper could have done.
Inches away from an almost immediate equaliser for Portugal. And then at the other end there, the runners in support. It ended up at the feet of Sucic. His effort draws the corner, taken by Baturina. Matanovic. And Modric into the book for the challenge. Looks like Portugal are going to bring on up to 4 substitutes shortly.
Yeah, probably the right yellow card there for Modric as he stops the potential transition going the other way.
Confirmation, Modric, second player in the book, 1 for each side. You can see at the bottom of the screen 4 Portuguese replacements lining up, ready to come into the game as substitutes. It's taking a while for them to sort it out. Here's Ronaldo trying to get on the end of this. He's there, and he clips it past the keeper. But the flag goes up on the far side. The celebrations will be curtailed for now.
And that has to be close. But what a control from Ronaldo.
That's very close.
That
isn't
is
it?
very close. What a control there from Ronaldo. And we're so used to seeing him things like this. But what a great goal that is. I'm sure that's being checked.
Well, they are waiting on the decision, but of course we have the semi-automated offside. It is being checked. The check is over, and Ronaldo was offside. My word, that was close. We thought the Davinson Sanchez one for Colombia against Portugal in Miami in their last group game was close. That looked pretty close as well. I think at this point we're going to have this whole rush of substitutions here. So Roberto Martinez is going to roll the dice. He's going to bring 4 on. So Neto comes off. Conceição is going to come on. And they've got to adhere the 10 seconds as well. Vitinha is going to come off. And Bernardo Silva is coming on. Bruno Fernandes is coming off. And Nelson Semedo is poised to come in. Well, the fourth official's got so many numbers here, he's got to get his way through. See just how close this offside was.
Yeah, that's very, very close.
Well, that's a lot for Levakovic to deal with, and he can't. It's behind for a corner. Confirmation. 4 substitutes then for Portugal. Bernardo Silva, Semedo, Ramos, the super sub in many ways, and Conceição are all on. And the first chance they'll have to make an impact will be from this corner, with Portugal trailing in Toronto. Few new responsibilities for these Croatian defenders to think about. Mendes, an in-swinger, all the way through. Renato Vega didn't quite get there. Now at the back post as well.
Another excellent corner from Nuno Mendes, and it looks like
Just a touch off Leao that sent it behind.
yeah, he got a little bit surprised by this one. Wow, there's looks like a little bit of a hold there.
And they are holding it. Well, I said as the ball was swung in, Vega didn't quite get there. Maybe there was a reason that he couldn't get there.
Those are always difficult calls. You don't know when the player is just letting himself fall. There's definitely arms wrapped around them, but you never know when the player is letting himself fall or he's being taken down.
Let's have another look at it. Center of the picture there. Sure enough, it was Vlasic on him.
These are difficult calls. It looks like he grabs him.
He's going to have a look. Jared Gillett, the video assistant referee, has asked Espinasquez to go and have a look and review this incident for a possible penalty. See, he pulls the arms away, but has he done enough by that point to commit the foul? He's been asked to look at it. They're recommending a review for that penalty, so you have to feel it would lean towards him coming out and declaring that it's a spot kick, but let's find out. Here is the decision. Huge moment now in this round of 32 clash. Portugal will have a chance from the spot.
It was a tough call, but probably the right one. You can see a little bit of a pull there. It's just that at what point, right, do you decide when a player is falling or being taken down? He does hold them back.
And here we go. Cristiano Ronaldo spots the ball. He actually missed a World Cup penalty in 2018 against Iran. Missed one at Euro 24 as well. He scored 8 of his 9 in the Saudi Pro League this season. And here he is now with the hopes of a nation once more resting on his shoulders. Against a goalkeeper who has excelled from penalties in Livakovic. Ronaldo. 1-1 in Toronto. And Cristiano Ronaldo can get them to cry shoo once more. First time he scored in the knockouts. He scores because of the penalty given for that challenge.
And how many times have we seen him take a big penalty? Here he is. Makes Livakovic dive early to his right and goes right up the middle.
And that Croatian momentum stalled. And we're all level again. His goal, Perisic, will see them lead for 15 minutes of this round of 32 tie. Well, it has to be Ronaldo, doesn't it? It really has to be in these kind of moments. And with that, we're going to get a quick breather. We might need it. The second half will continue after this hydration break. Well, we get the story in one sense on a night where a lot of this is billed as the duel between Modric and Ronaldo, and Cristiano Ronaldo steps up in the key moment. Moments after being only inches offside with what could have been an equaliser, he steps up and scores from the spot.
And at a moment where Portugal made 4 substitutions, we weren't even able to see where the 4 players came in and where they're going to help before Portugal gets that corner that's taken once again by Nuno Mendes and results in a penalty that Ronaldo scores to put us at 1-1. This second half has certainly been different than the first. This is a back and forth now. 2 teams that are looking to score.
Breakthrough moment for him in the knockouts at World Cup football as well. He's the oldest knockout goal scorer in FIFA World Cup history. His manager thrilled. Their first attempt on target since the 4th minute. And the spot kick would be Ronaldo's first touch in the opposition box. It's a key one. It has his side level. So what have Croatia got in response? Perisic will take the throw-in. Now he gets the nod from the referee. And the throw arrives and is caught in the 6-yard box by Costa. They sent Pasalic on, and Baturina has come out. And it's Mario Pasalic who is the substitute. Second change, of course, for Croatia. Well, this has warmed up so nicely since half-time, hasn't it? Portugal dominated possession in the first half. They didn't do an awful lot with it. Both sides out of the traps, a little bit faster, a little bit more intensity in the second half. And Perisic putting Croatia in front, but a lead that has been wiped out by a Ronaldo strike. Scored 5 goals in 5 games in qualifying to bring them to this World Cup. He's the central talking point of the team. And yet again, he's at the centre of everything. Drake, Canadian rapper, among those in the crowd tonight. Well, Rafael Leao might want to meet him at some point. He's a rapper of some repute. Here is Leao. Portugal re-energized. And over he goes, no foul. Remember that quartet of substitutes that Portugal have brought into the game. Here's Perisic. Sucic through the middle. He's got Mario Pasalic there for support as well. It's Mario Pasalic who does actually win that ball. Look at this from Kovacic. And the strike! He hits the post! Bounces out to Vlasic. And sent back for Kovacic again and tipped over.
Wow, and here's the ball recovery. And Kovacic goes right through the Portugal midfield. Neves can't catch him, and he goes for that near post. And looks like Costa gets a finger on it before it hits the post. And on the rebound, Kovacic gets that second shot also saved.
Just a touch on the first one. How important was that? And now a Croatian corner. Modric swung in high. And Matanovic was underneath it. He had a man right behind him. And now they go quickly. That's going to be a lot. With 4 Croatian defenders back behind that. Or Conceição to deal with. Pasalic. Time and space. Matanovic had some time as well. And he goes wide. And another good save from Costa.
Here the ball goes over the top. It gets deflected, and Matanovic looks like he's going to hit it left-footed. He cuts, and Costa comes out and cuts the angle. That's a great save.
Spreads himself well. It was going in from the substitute. Modric from the corner. Stanisic outside him. He can deliver well. So, of course, will Modric. It's blocked. It'll be a Croatian throw.
And it seems like this Croatia team is getting more and more confidence in attack.
Sucic. Time to turn and go with it. Stanisic to deliver the cross. It was a healthy one. Will we see Ronaldo on Monday against Spain? He's going to need the players out there on the field to get him there now. Extra time awaits, and to a penalty shootout. Well, Croatia 4 for 4 at World Cups. The offside decision on Petar Sucic. Perisic is keeping the chase up, but Nelson Semedo has done well, and now here they come. Portugal on the other side. Away from Vlasic. Leao. 3 in the middle. Over the heads of the jumping Conceição.
But that's what Portugal needs to do a little bit more, push the pace of the game, have the ball. In this case, they sent a lot of numbers forward. Not sure that Conceição is the one you want to be looking for in the box for the...
Minutes to go, plus added time. Vega. Costa. In that Portuguese midfield for the moment. Now has broken the line. He's got a man in the middle. Others arriving. And he'll win the corner. Looking up at the contact as well, remember, it was converted by Ronaldo from a Portuguese corner on that side of the field. Over goes Nuno Mendes.
And just about every one of his corners has been dangerous.
Again, and headed wide. Well, he got there this time.
It seems to get a clear shot at it. Very similar to the one he had in the first half.
It was a header that was firmly met, wasn't it, and went just over the crossbar. Good moments of Portugal in woodwork as well. The chance for Mendes, seconds into the second period. And then really hit with the sucker punch as Perisic punished them. The Spanish media had dubbed this match as the duel. Ronaldo, of course we only have one of them on the field now. Calmly brought down by Petar Sucic. He hangs it up. It's headed wide. Mario Pasovic, head in hands. It was a moment for him and those fans to dream.
And here's the cutback from Sucic. Wow, and that's close. This is that one, and it all started with a Luka Modric ball over the top.
Croatia looked to have so much more cutting edge in the second half, haven't they?
They deserved to be ahead, even though there wasn't a lot of chances. It was certainly Portugal. I'm not sure we can say that anymore. I think this 1-1 result for what we've seen.
Final minute plus. Guardiola is due to come on for Croatia. We're looking at 10 additional minutes. Matanovic, I think they've certainly been more threatening with him up there as well. You've seen at times in this second half, slowly but surely, Croatia getting hold of the ball in the middle of the field more and starting to dictate the terms, and they have to take the game where they want to take it to. And it's at times got a little away from Portugal as the ball 10 added minutes to the end of this round of 32 tie at the Toronto Stadium. The West still blue sky above us. And Perisic takes no chances. Portugal corner. Stoppage time at the end of the 90. And ultimately wide.
Almost try to flick it.
It was Gonzalo Ramos at the near post who got the first touch to it. Vlasic. Guardiola is on. But Perisic is going to move up.
And Guardiola's had a little bit of an up and down World Cup. He's been in and through some injuries.
That's right, injured at the turn of the year with Manchester City. It was a nasty shin injury. Came in at similar time of the game than the first two matches. Mendes cuts one way and then the other, and the referee waves away the penalty appeals, which were instantaneous. Vega sticks a touch in. Conceição helps it wide to the right. They've got Nelson Semedo on that flank of the field now. Vega again. Is there to be a winner? Or will we go to extra time? Leao stretches his legs, stretches Stanisic along the way. Diaz. Leao again. There's a little bit of space to run into. Goes for the early ball, and the header's in! The super sub does it again! Portugal may well have given Ronaldo one more outing in the FIFA World Cup. The career of Modric, as Croatian hearts are broken in stoppage time in Toronto.
And just when we thought Croatia was getting comfortable and taking over the game, here comes the ball from Ramos that goes right into the far post, right in between two defenders. What a huge...
Well, he makes a name for himself from coming off the bench, and Gonzalo Ramos may well have just put Portugal into the... What goes through that man's mind at this moment? There is still time. We haven't yet reached halfway through the 10 added minutes, and we'll go beyond that.
And when you're a competitor like that man, what he's thinking for us to come back.
And Kramaric is going to be thrown on. Man whose injuries have kept him. Replaces Kovacic. Well, if you're looking for a goal, he might be the man to provide it, of course. Certainly rocking now. And Portugal have come from behind. With the clearance away. Interventions from Gonzalo Ramos. Scored 7 times on the bench for his club side, Paris Saint-Germain, this season. That's a huge goal. Basilic up there, Vega heads away. Anyway, will do for Portugal for now, but there's still a lot of game time to be played. Guardiola going in. Leao. Well, Croatia are going to bring the numbers, of course. There's going to be some gaps at the other end. That was very risky from Conceição. He is veiled now for Semedo. You think about gutsy calls. Roberto Martinez changes 4 players as there's a late challenge in off the ball. And then he subs out Cristiano Ronaldo, who had equalised from the penalty spot. His side now.
Martinez made all the tough calls, and they have worked out for him.
Goals at the FIFA World Cup. Only Ronaldo with his 11, and the great Eusebio with 9 has scored. I was walking around little Portugal the other day, walking the cafes, on the walls, the pitches. The Portuguese team that went so close with Eusebio at the helm. And blazing on the wall as well was a big picture of Cristiano in championship trophy in his hands. Essentially goodbye as he left the game. But here come Croatia. They've still got the time. A path to an equaliser, and that could come through this corner. And Perisic was asking. Nothing doing. Now. Here it comes. Matanovic is in there, and the referee has spotted something here. He has pointed to a goal kick. He was just saying, I thought for a moment he was pointing to an infringement, but he was quickly on the spot. Yes, Velasquez. And telling the nothing doing there either, so Costa gets us. Barely seconds. It depends how far beyond the 10 minutes we go, because of course we did have the goal. 94th. For Zlatko Dalic's side. Runners-up 2018. Semi-finalist 2022. Great triumph and success for Croatian football. Guardiol. Modric had made a run. Stanisic, who played the 10 minutes. Wide to Petar Susic. Modric, he will not get there. It's a goal kick. And is it over? All eyes on the referee as well now. Costa will take the goal kick. All up on the board. Croatia just want the ball back from them. Stanisic gets it back in play. Suter goes up, good header. Vega. And Semedo now. There's space in front of him. Surely he just drives to the... They'll keep going. They'll look for another one. Ow. Did he make the right decision? It actually went out for a throw. Modric helps it on. Guardiol. Perisic, who waves them on as he takes possession. Croatia, one last cross into the hands of Costa. Surprised Portugal opened themselves up for that transition moment. Still lets them play. Ticking up to 12 minutes added now. Agony for Portugal fans. Croatian fans can only pray. And still they've got time. Here they come again. Sucic. Wide for... in there, surely. Sutalo. Gracic, he sends it wide. Perisic now. 5 in the middle. Here's the ball in. And it falls in the back. And it's gone into the net. It's an equaliser. With surely the... Guardiol is arriving. This is as one. Croatia keeps pushing and pushing. Chance after chance. celebrations. Is it all going to be for nothing? VAR checking a possible offside. Mario Pasalic. To the penalty area. Question they have to look at in these offsides as well, deliberate against non-deliberate touches of the ball. But they will check for offside, and the referee's been up. And after all those incredible celebrations for Croatia and their supporters, the to heartbreak. There's the snicko on the bottom there. It's going to look at the touches. So there is the clear touch from a... And they'll be looking at deliberate and non-deliberate actions and whether bringing Pasalic into an onside position. But in that position, he's offside.
They're checking to see if Vega touches the ball intentionally.
Here's the announcement.
Croatia player number 20 to the goal scorer. Final decision, offside.
Oh! And Portugal back in control of the tie. Only seconds left in Toronto. What an incredible finish. And it could be a finish to the career.
And there's definitely an offsides there. The question is whether the defender touches the ball and puts him in play.
Here it is again. There is the touch, and you can see Pasalic in the through. And a rueful smile from Luka Modric. They won 4 Champions League titles together. Only one of them can march out of here tonight. The pitch behind the goal, which is being defended by Diego Costa. That's with the Croatian fans. You can imagine the scenes of ecstasy there as Guardiola celebrated what he thought was an equalising goal in the most dramatic of circumstances. Look at this clock. 16 and a half minutes beyond the 90.
What a second half. It hasn't only been about the legends. This has been a great second half.
Question is, what an incredible finish. Well, this is just delaying things a little further, and it's not going to help Croatia's cause. He will watch on. Has his team done enough? Is he marching on? Is it Spain in Dallas next week? Is it over for those fans? And is it the end for Luka Modric?
And I would assume at this point the referee will give likely another 30, 40.
Even do that with what's going on behind the goal. We've got projectiles coming down from all angles at the moment. Let's have another look at the goal, and we can see the semi-automated offside. So in that, and we saw, of course, the famous snicko, the snickometer that was in there as well, to judge who. Is Diaz's hand on it as well. There is a touch, but a non-deliberate play on the ball.
It seems like Vega's trying to get out of the way.
Yeah. We are back underway. How much longer for, we do not know. Another go. Perisic is through the middle, and retreating back is Diaz. Hooked away by Bernardo Silva. Nelson Semedo will bring it down. They need to just keep the ball, Portugal, surely now, and see out this round of 32 game. The referee's letting them play, but now it's over. Ronaldo, the World Cup journey continues for Luka Modric. Its journey's a quite extraordinary finish. Heartbreak for Croatia. They thought they'd equalised right at the death, but in fact, from the super sub Gonzalo Ramos, which is enough to take Portugal through on a night of high drama at the Toronto Stadium.
Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal are through to the round of 16. The clock has struck midnight now for Luka Modric and Croatia. Luka Modric's final game with Croatia, and it is a controversial ending to this one, guys. Did the referee make the right?
For Luka Modric and Croatia, it is the correct call because the player Pasalic was in an Matanovic headed the ball, and what the referees have judged is that Vega did not make a deliberate play on the ball. It would have been deemed onside and the goal would have stood, but they've decided that was a deflection, and hence it was a...
Has to be an intentional play of the ball, and you can see him actually almost ducking out of the way, trying to get out of the way of the ball. So in the end, as gutting as for a goal like that to be called back in stoppage time, it was the right call. We saw a nice moment there with Ronaldo and Luka Modric. Every player and showing Modric some respect and thanks for the great match. And for Modric, perhaps he will play with Croatia again, but he, of course, as none of these players want to leave the pitch tonight. And what was really a sense of occasion coming into the night, and the game certainly lived up to it.
Game of football. This was an incredible match. We talked about this as being the premier match of the round of 32. Boy, did it stand up and deliver, Claire.
It had everything. It had drama, it had stoppage time goals, it had penalties. It had me yelling and booing the hydration breaks. It was great. I can't believe we actually get to witness this live. We saw Luka Modric, the greatest Croatian footballer in history, play his final game. Ronaldo, the ride is not over as Portugal are through to the round of 16. Time for the TSN Player of the Match, presented by BMO, official bank of Canada.
Well, when you score the winning goal in a match like this, you're going to get a player of the match. Gonzalo Ramos, great header in traffic. 2 defenders, 3 defenders were able to glance that home, and it nearly took the roof off of Toronto.